On September of 1939, Germany invaded Poland, and shortly thereafter, England and France declared war on Germany. This marked the start of World War II. The U.S. did not join the war until 2 years later. On December 7, 1941, the Japanese launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. The very next day, the U.S. declared war on Japan and joined World War II. 2 months after the U.S. joined the war, in February of 1942, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the President of the United States, signed Executive Order 9066. This order stated that any person of Japanese ancestry had to be moved into Japanese internment camps. Americans with Japanese ancestry were forced to be moved into one of 12 Japanese internment camps. These camps were spread across the Midwestern to Western states. One of these people included George Negata. George was born in San Jose, California in September of 1929. George was an only child and lived with his dad, who was a ranch hand. In 1942, George was moved into a camp named Heart Mountain, which is located in Wyoming. George left for the camp when he was only 13 years old. He was only a couple of weeks short from graduating 8th grade. George said that after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, he felt like he was being harassed more than before the bombing.
Before the war, after Pearl Harbor, then of course, they sort of harassed me,
Conditions at Heart Mountain were not good. It is actually known to be the camp with the worst conditions.
And, for shower and bathroom, it was a community type, where, nothing private, That's about the only thing that was, wasn't pleasant,
The camp offered many sports, but George didn't participate in any of them. In the camps, George shared a barrack with just his dad. They were the only two out of his immediate family that went to the camps, but in the barracks next door were his grandparents.
It was small, it was just a bed and a stove, where for heat, that was it,
George said that he didn't feel that the food was bad and that all he remembers is about once every other week he would get roast chicken. George did have friends that he knew from his hometown or from around the area that went to camp with him. In camp, they still had schools with American teachers.
Of course, when the first school started was, of course, we had classes in the barracks, Then they built a great big high school,
Heart Mountain had many different organizations, from police stations to courthouses. There were also baseball programs at the camp. Heart Mountain's weather was very cold, and for fun, families would ice skate on the frozen football field.
And the only thing I liked in camp was ice skating, There was a lot of that, wintertime, because we had a regular football field, and wintertime they'll flood that football field with water. Of course, it turns into ice, so it's a big community skating rink. So
Heart Mountain was also known for its agriculture. As a whole, George said that he didn't really feel that the camp affected him that much, and he didn't feel that he was treated poorly there.
I was too really young to be affected by it, the war.
When George returned from Heart Mountain, he came back to Campbell, California, and started school. George returned home when he was a junior and then graduated the next year from Campbell High School. He then later married, had children, and started a business as a mechanic.